1, 2, 3.
Greetings, friends!
Have you ever had those times in your life where you feel like there's just so much going on, it's like you can't catch your breath?
Yes.
Well, we have had that here recently. In fact, I've been out of town for the past couple weeks every other week. A lot of good stuff going on, but it's kind of like, whew, let me catch my breath.
Well, it's a lot of work getting back into it and doing videos and everything going on. It's just, we get behind.
Sure do. And there was one time I remember waking up wherever we was in the middle of the night. It's just kind of groggy, and I'm kind of like, where am I exactly? But we're back home now. We've gone to Indiana to visit the mint farm, which was a really neat visit.
Yep.
Check out that video if you haven't already. I was speaking at Homesteaders of America. But before all those things and some other things that we had going on, we went to Panama City Beach, Florida. We went for the Feast of Tabernacles, which I mentioned before in some previous videos, that we keep the feast, and it's, as it's mentioned in the Bible, these things are God's feast and they're to be kept for forever. The same goes for the Feast of Tabernacles. It says to keep it for forever. So us, as well as a number of other church family members from all across the United States, came to Panama City Beach, Florida to keep the feast. For us, as well as many others, the Feast of Tabernacles is the highlight of the year. Even back in biblical times, in mostly agrarian societies that kept these feasts, it was a time to celebrate, to bring in the big harvest, to come together and celebrate and enjoy the blessings that you had been given.
And share
together
with one another.
Yes, so that's what we're there to do, celebrate that feast together with others. But as much as we were looking forward to this feast, it was forecasted to be rain through the feast, as well as red tide at the beach.
Yeah.
So, and one thing about the red tide is it kills things in the water. It takes over, it robs them of the oxygen, and the animals just die, and it's toxic to humans too. So that was what we were facing as we were going down there.
Yeah.
But you know what? As the feast was getting ready to start, forecast cleared up, perfect temperatures, and the red tide, it was like it was miraculously being held back.
Yeah.
All the area that most of our church people were staying in at Panama City, that water was just clear and perfect. And someone even took one of the rides in a helicopter, and the pilot was flying them above, and they were showing him the red tide, and you could see the red tide was like being held back, and the pilot was like, I have never seen anything like
all
this
the
before.
local people there said they had never seen it because it was all in the bay and down the beach from us, but right where we were on the beach, it was this crystal blue water, and it was perfect.
So nothing special about us. It was just a blessing that we acknowledged and are very thankful for, because the kids, it gave them an opportunity to play in the ocean. And our kids really love playing in the ocean. I think it had been a while since they got to play, so they were happy to be on the beach playing in the water with perfect temperatures, and the water was just so clear, so calm. It was like I'd never seen anything like it for consecutive days. We've been to places like Costa Rica, Jamaica, and other beaches, but I had never seen it like this, that calm and that clear. It was just amazing.
It was great.
And Josiah and I, we were tossing the football on the beach, just having a good time.
Without my love for the ocean, I would be long gone by now. It's some kind of devotion.
And I even took Selah for her very first ride on a jet ski. I love riding jet skis, but she hopped on there with me.
Without my love for the ocean, I would be no
And another really awesome thing that happened was we were out on the beach, and we had walked up the beach a little ways, and I heard Lacie And I turn around and this very nice lady says, "You don't know me, but I know you because I watch you on YouTube." And she had already talked to Mike because he had been up the beach a little ways from me. And it was so awesome. And I cannot remember your name. So if you're watching this, please leave us a comment in the comment section so we know exactly who it is. But it was so interesting because earlier that day she said, "I was just sitting out here on the beach thinking, I wonder if any YouTubers are out here." And she goes, "And then a while later, I saw you guys." It was really cool getting recognized somewhere and being able to talk to people that know us from here.
And overall, this trip was really a nice break from the go constantly that we have here on the homestead. And even when we take trips to other places, even visiting other farms, it's still go and just like work. Because I'm like thinking, be efficient, work hard, move hard.
It's always how much can we jam into one little piece of time.
But this trip, it was nice with the feast, just having a more relaxing environment and being able to just do activities that we normally don't get to do on a regular basis, like bowling. We were a little rusty at the beginning. And we were there with a number of others as a church group, just having a good time.
Yeah.
But then Lacie here got in a groove in bowling, and man, was she tearing it up. Bang! And another thing that we got to do that I really enjoy doing, but some of the kids, like Micah, was doing it for the first time, is go-karts. So they had these little kiddie go-karts that were just perfect for his size, and he got in there and he was excited. And these were electric go-karts. It didn't go super fast, but they were perfect for Micah. Josiah was just being a champion and decided to ride on the track with him. However, he wanted to go much faster, I'm sure. Good job, Micah. You going?
I set out on a road that I built with my own two hands.
Good job, guys.
I met friends on the way, people chose.
You're doing a good job.
I felt strong in the sun as I walked onto Pastor's Creed. Saw forgiveness together as spaces in between.
But we also got to ride on the bigger track too, which Josiah was really happy about because just by the tippy top tips of his hair, he was meeting the height requirements. And he really enjoyed riding these big go-karts. And you were in there, and Sayla was in there too. And I was in there, of course. It was just a good time. Uh-oh. Sayla caught up some. And since it was the feast, of course, we had to eat some good meals. And we ate a number of those. And there was this one place that we went. It was like right on the beach. And we saw the sunset as we were eating dinner. It was just really, really beautiful.
It was.
But this one place was just absolutely amazing. And it was called Hunt and Gather. And they purchased from locally from a number of different farms to serve on their menu. And one of the things that I really like, actually they had a couple of these, was duck. They had a number of different items on the menu that was from duck, and it was fantastic.
They had these duck fries, that's what they call them, and it's French fries with duck confit on top and this amazing coleslaw and cheese, and I don't know, maybe it doesn't sound so great, but it was fantastic.
Sure was.
And we actually got to meet the chef, chef owner and his wife. She was the server, and we got to talk to them, and they were a really awesome couple and told us, how they like to buy as local as they can and really produce a high-end product. And it was like all their food, hands down, was fantastic.
So if you're in the area of Panama City Beach, I highly recommend that you look up Hunt and Gather.
And tell them that we sent you.
But in addition to all the fun activities, we were also there to learn and worship God. And I was also extended the honor and privilege to be able to speak at one of our services, and I had to talk about children. I didn't have to. I really wanted to talk about children and the blessing that they are. And on that same day, there was a children's choir, and I was really impressed that we didn't force them to do it, but all of our kids participated in the children's choir. Seeing Sayla sing up there and Josiah, well, Micah didn't do the choir on the day that they did the choir, but he was there all the other practices. When they were doing the actual choir, he was just
sleeping.
Asleep. So, but he was practicing all the other times he was ready. And as the feast came to a close, just as amazing as the red tide was being held back and the water and the weather was perfect, as the feast came to a close, it all reverted back and the sky was all cloudy and dreary, and the
red
water
tide
was
rolled
murky.
in, and it was all murky.
And then the jellyfish was all over the place, which we hadn't seen before. There was like a lot of jellyfish on the beach and in the water, so it was like that was like definitely a sign that it was time to move on. And usually each year at the feast, I'm excited about going there, but then as it comes to a close, I'm excited to come back home, and get back into the groove and get back to work. And we did. And while we were gone, our farm help, Sarah, did a great job of looking over things here for us. We really like having her on hand and helping out. She really is a blessing to the farm and to our family. So we're thankful to have her. And she was gathering eggs and doing all that. But we also came back and we were harvesting together. We were harvesting radishes together, and then eggplant, and then cucumbers, and peppers, and tomatoes. It's still amazing that it's this far along and we're still harvesting all these things. It's pretty neat to see that. And one of the tomatoes that we got a really big one. This is still from the tomatoes that we got from Polyface, from the Salatins. We just sliced it up, and man, was it good. Sayla and I were really enjoying it. It was just so sweet.
And we still have big green ones out on the vine right now at the beginning of November. Exciting.
And also, while we were gone, the wood kiln got delivered.
Yep.
And they made a lot of progress, and I think the structure's pretty much finished now.
Yeah,
it's
the building's
fantastic.
up. The end isn't on the back end if they're going to put one, but yeah, most everything is done.
And then just as soon as we started to get back in somewhat of a rhythm for being back from the feast, then came Homesteaders of America. And we headed up to Front Royal, Virginia for the conference, where I was pleasantly surprised to see over 5,000 people there. It was such an amazing atmosphere with a lot of different amazing vendors. It was also nice to see a lot of old friends, like our friends from Sow the Land. And my buddy Doug, who was constantly talking with many of the people there and giving helpful advice. I also really enjoyed walking around meeting a number of you at the conference, like Andy. So I'm here with Andy at the Homesteaders of America conference. And Andy, why are you here?
Well, we've always grew our own food and stuff. That's how I was raised up. And kind of just checking out things and, in my opinion, getting prepared for stuff to come and networking with people. That's my biggest thing, networking. And finding out there's a lot more people like-minded like me. And, you know, it's been awesome so far. I'm really blown away. But, yeah, we're just out here checking everything out and learning as we go as well, and listening to all the good speaking and everything else.
So a lot of times when we're back home homesteading and we're not around people like this.
No,
and
no.
You can feel like
you're
crazy.
to yourself. And I kind of feel like sometimes I'm going crazy, and then I get out here and I realize I'm not. There's a lot of people who think the way we do, and it makes you feel good about it.
Sure does. It's so nice to be around like-minded people who are striving to do some of the same things.
It really is.
So keep doing what you're doing, and hope you have a great time.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah. And Abby and Randy. And guys, this is your first time at a conference like this?
Yeah.
What in the world made you come to this kind of conference?
So Yeah, you
Good.
Well, we've been following YouTubers for years, probably like 4 or 5 years now, and just have been so inspired to come and pursue homesteading ourselves. So to come here and meet people like you and like all of our heroes is just like mind blowing. So we just want to make the same type of difference in the world that everybody else is with this movement of getting back to farm to table and to growing your own food and being able to share your garden with everybody else as well in your community.
So it's so inspiring for me to know that we're helping to inspire people like you guys. So we really appreciate you coming up to us and letting us know that we're helping you in some way through our videos. So we really appreciate your encouragement on that, and keep up what you're doing. Hang in there. You have your challenges and times where you want to quit, but you can do it. Do you ever feel like a weirdo trying to do this kind of lifestyle where you live?
Yeah, I mean, that's how we got into YouTube, really. We didn't know where else to learn, so that's where we get most of our information. So, and then after we got started, we were hooked, and been doing it for a few years now, and I'm just excited to be here and excited to learn more and meet everybody, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And so many people were eagerly listening to all the great lineup of speakers that were there, like Daniel Salatin, who talked about raising livestock.
Shape, shape, shape. If you're looking for grass-finished animals, they gotta be smaller. They were not huge, they're smaller. If you're looking for a pig, they gotta be able to move. I talked about that. If you're looking for chickens, they need to be able to habit the big area, whether it's ranging in and out, they need to be able to get away from predators, aerial and otherwise, etc. Okay, so look for the shape. Number 2 is clean coat and feathers. Again, not show coiffed, don't be a sucker, but make sure they're clean and ready to go. Okay, so, and typically, again, if you have 2 animals or 2,000 animals, you're gonna have 1 animal that's really, really clean, takes care of herself. Talking about cows at this point, and 1 cow that looks like garbage, right? Sheep, same thing, goats, pigs, all same thing, right?
And Justin Rose, who talked about raising kids.
Somebody was asking me earlier, how do you, I think it was something like, how do you get your kids excited about it? And I'm like, well, you know, I pay them. You know, this is a job for us. So we're making money with these videos, so we're going to pay them if they participate. So they have that choice. We're training them to be real world citizens, and that's what happens in the real world. You show up, you get paid. If you don't show up, you don't get paid. Thanks. So she said, well, they don't, you know, so I'm like, they don't always like it. And I said, well, do they like Legos? Of course, right? They like Legos. You might have to get the Lego set and for somebody like Gideon or whatever, and put it on the counter. And you know, if you do this for a month at this time, you get this, and if you don't, you don't. The hard part is sticking to the don't. So trying to think of what happens in the real world and mimic that as much as we can.
And also got to meet for the first time Pork Rind, who was interacting with the kids and teaching them how to do a pig call.
Well, y'all, can I give your best pig holler? Best pig holler in 3, 2, 1. Did you just meow? You got one more time? Okay, that's a dog. I don't know if we have any good pig hollers. Question, ma'am. Do you have a pig holler? You want to learn one?
Yes.
Want to learn one? Okay, cool. So here's what I do. I do. Can you do that? Oh yes. Well, one more time.
It was also really neat to see that not only did they have things for adults to see there, they had a lot of things for kids to see and do as well. Ginger from Murray McMurray were teaching the kids all about raising chickens. And Pork Rind went around asking each child what was some of the animals that they raise on their homestead.
What's your name? Creed. What you raising, Creed?
We have chickens, pigs, goats, rabbits, guineas, cats, and I don't think I might have hogs.
Okay, you put cats in there. Are you eating cats too?
They're mousers. They're mousers, so they count.
All right, I love that. See, he's thinking about profitability. You kill the mice, that keeps all your grain from getting spoiled. I like that. What about you?
I have quail, chickens, pigs, ducks, rabbits, dogs, cats.
And stuff. I love the mystery in that. I love that.
There was so much going on there. Besides, I was talking with so many of you, I didn't even have a chance to listen to any of the speakers. You didn't either because you weren't able to be at the conference.
No.
But you just have to stay tuned for an upcoming vlog where we talk about that. But for those of you like Lacie and me who didn't get the chance to hear all the different speakers at Homesteaders of America, well, Homesteaders of America has memberships where it gives you access to all the different talks. So I'll provide that information in the show notes below. So make sure you check it out. Also, if you want any information on keeping the Feast of Tabernacles, we'll also include that information in the show notes below. Well, stay tuned and we'll tell you about all the why she let me go to the conference all by myself. Well, actually, Selah and Josiah went with me, but you weren't able to come.
No, which was sad. I was really sad about it, but I had a really good reason why I didn't go.
Stay tuned.